Hey, fourthies! Thanks for joining me for our language lesson. Please be sure you're on page 86 in language. Now, as you're turning to page 86, let's recall that all this week we've learned about facts and opinions, how to use a dictionary, synonyms, which are words that are similar and they have similar meanings and definitions. So today we're going to look at antonyms. Okay, and antonyms are opposites. Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. So we've got rich, poor, sick, healthy, young, old, happy, sad. So in the blank, write an antonym for each word. Now you may think of one differently than what I'm thinking of, and that's okay. You can share that with me at our Zoom meeting. So if you're like, Miss Vera, I thought of another antonym or another opposite word, let me share that with you. I'd be happy to know what you have thought of. So, something that's hard, what's the opposite of hard or the antonym? I'm going to say soft. Now you might think easy. Yeah, that's true too because hard has a lot of the word hard has a lot of definitions. Number 2, graceful. Now when someone is graceful, that means they don't bump into things. They walk straight. Um, they're confident in themselves. But the opposite of that is clumsy. That's me. I bump into things sometimes. I know I walk funny, so I'm not graceful. Dancers are graceful, right? Like ballet dancers, yeah, they are very graceful. Strong. Well, the opposite of strong is weak. Okay. Small, the opposite of small is big. Over, under, right? Okay, now required, that means you have to do it. So, for example, um, for like teenagers who want to learn to drive, if they're going to take their driver's test, it's required that they practice beforehand, like 50 hours of driving, and then they can take the driver's test. Now, the opposite of required means you don't have to do it. It could be like an option. So this is interesting. I'm trying to think of another word. Sorry, I'm trying to think of a word that doesn't mean required. It's like a suggestion. Um, so let me ask Alexa. I don't know if you can hear her from where you are, but I'm gonna go closer to her. Alexa, what is the antonym of required?
Antonyms for required meaning necessary include voluntary, optional, or inessential. By the
Thank you.
way,
Thank you,
you can
Alexa. You
now
can turn
ask
off
me
now.
a question.
All right. So I don't know if you heard her, but she said um, some one of the antonyms for required is voluntary. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use something thinner. So hold on one moment. Voluntary. Oh, that's better. Okay. Now, when something is voluntary, that means you don't have to do it. If you want to, you can. So it's like a volunteer saying, I'll do it. So there you go. Interesting. I like that. I don't know if you heard Alexa, but all right. So let's complete these sentences, and we're going to we're going to write the antonyms of the words already in parentheses. We'll just do the first two. Okay. All right. So Sweden is a little bit smaller than California. Okay. Now the opposite of smaller, we'll say bigger. You can say larger if you want. So I'll say bigger. Sweden is a little bit bigger than California. Interesting. The climate, no, the climate meaning weather. The climate is more moderate than you might expect for a country so far south. South goes this way, okay? Down. Now, what's the opposite of down? It's up, right? So what do we call that direction? That's north, okay? So we'll say north. The climate is more moderate than you might expect for a country so far north. We're going to do 3 and 4 together at our Zoom meeting, all right? Right, C. Write a declarative sentence using an antonym for smooth. Okay. So think of the antonym for smooth. You can say rough. That's an antonym. That's the opposite of smooth. So I'm gonna make up a sentence, and then you can share yours at our Zoom meeting. So my sentence for rough, I'm gonna say, something feels rough, right? What could feel rough? Ooh, the sand felt rough underneath my feet. Because sometimes sand is like that. If it's coarse sand, I'll say that. The sand felt rough under my feet. Right, all right. Remember D. Okay. We have to use proofreader marks. Sometimes we need to capitalize things or add periods or exclamation points or question marks or quotation marks or apostrophes. Those are apostrophes. Number 1. Miss Lewis said families in Sweden often eat bread, yogurt, and oatmeal for breakfast. Yum. Okay, let's capitalize some things, all right? We've got Miss Lewis. She's a teacher. That's her proper noun. That's her proper name. Now I know it says, I think that's it. Oh, Sweden needs to be capitalized. And I know I have to put a period at the end. Now, I know it's said, okay, but I guess you can say, this is a direct quote. Yeah, let's say that. So Miss Lewis said, comma, quotation mark. So imagine she's saying this in her speech bubble, okay? Families in Sweden often eat bread, yogurt, and oatmeal for breakfast. So I'm going to end my speech bubble here with another quotation mark. I hope you see that. And I need to put commas between the list of foods because I'm listing things. So eat bread, comma, yogurt, comma, and oatmeal for breakfast. Okay. Number 2. FICA is a special break for spending time with family and friends, and cinnamon bun, cookies, and cake are often served, she continued. FICA is a special break. That's interesting. Huh. Wonder how long these FICAs last. It must be like their tea time. So, she's still talking because it says here she continued. So she's still teaching the class, I guess, about Sweden. So I'm gonna put quotation marks around FICA all the way to serve because this is what I'm imagining she is saying, especially in her speech bubble. I'm also gonna put a comma after served. FICA needs to be capitalized. It's at the beginning of a sentence. And that's pretty much it. Or I need a period after continued. All right. There we go. Cool, 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 cool. We'll do 3 and 4 at our Zoom meeting. Remember E. Ooh, this is interesting. You can do remember E. Can you do remember E? And just put the necessary punctuation marks, and we'll review this together. Because all you have to do is identify if it's declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. Okay, so do that on your own, and then we'll review together. So today, our lesson was on antonyms. We learned that words have opposite meanings, and the special name for that is antonyms. All right, fourthies? Thank you so much for listening very well. I will see you at our Zoom meeting.